So this is actually from an authorized newspaper. You should be hearing the right thing. So I should be telling you the right thing. All right. So 90% of the jobs created over the last decade were 1 million jobs. 1 million jobs in the services sector. And 90% of the 1 million jobs in the services sector that was created in the last 10 years were from the services sector. People who needed money and want to work can find a job. That's critical. But what is interesting about this fact? About this fact is 85% of these jobs are not paying people enough to support a family. Let me ask you, if you hear these facts, do you think we have a problem? Yes or no?
Yes!
I can't hear you. We are, yes! One more time. We are Singaporeans, right? Yes or no?
Yes!
Thank you. Do you think the PAP hear you? Yes or no?
No!
Yes, you are right. We do have a real problem on our hands. A large number of households who are working full-time, earning an income, are not making enough to cover their basic household expenditure, especially those in the lower 20%. Do you think the government knows this? Yes or no?
Yes!
Actually, yes. They know it. And this is where it's almost criminal. You know it and not doing something about it. Let me tell you how the government knows. HDB did a household survey. And it showed that 1/3 of those living in 1 and 2 room flats do not earn any money. Is this a concern? Should we be worried?
Yes! Yes!
Yes or no?
Yes!
Thank you. So in 2012, after the last general elections, more than 100,000 Singaporeans earned less than $1,000 a month despite working full. The overall goods and services, or the overall price of the goods and services in Singapore has increased by 13.1%. And those who are unskilled saw their wages drop by about 8%. Right? And people who are in this category, there are 300,000 people who are from the workfare income supplement category. So, do you think the government has delivered on its social policy? Yes or no?
No!
Right. There are certain things you need to understand if you are really, really poor in the bottom 20%. Many of the things that we consider routine, you will find it a real challenge. What are some of the challenges that you will find? Going to work punctually and regularly. Pursuing higher education. This will be out of your dreams. Getting a professional degree. It's also out of your dreams. No need to think about it. Spending money without having to worry about having enough at the end of the month. This is also a concern. And the poor are also unfairly treated, knowingly or unknowingly. Let me give you an example. For example, nowadays you buy a HDB flat. Ministers like to say, if you earn $1,000 a month, you can buy a HDB flat. Yes or no?
No!
Yes, ministers are saying, if you earn $1,000 a month, we will make it affordable for you to buy a HDB flat. That's true, yeah? No. But you must remember, people who are in this category are eligible for the additional CPF housing grants, the special CPF housing grants. But there is a problem. The problem is, these applicants are required to fill up forms, submit documents that prove they've been continuously employed for the last 12 months. And they need to show all the income earned over the same period, the last 12 months. And the application has to reach the HDB by a specific deadline. So remember, you are not earning enough to meet your daily expenses or your monthly expenses. Yet you have a deadline to fill up these forms. You need to request these forms and fill up, and then show all your income over the past 12 months to prove that you qualify. Alright? And compare that with Mr. Average or Mr. Middle Class, who buys a 5-room, 4-room, DBSS, BTO, what have you not. They also qualify for the CPF housing grant. Guess what? These grants are provided automatically when these families purchase their flats. There's no deadline, there's no need to apply. So, in this process, if you think about it, do you think it's fair? Yes or no?
No.
Singaporeans, yes or no?
No.
Thank you. So SINGFIRST will propose to build the self-esteem of citizens by making social assistance automatic. The government will say, hey, this is so much work to track the people. We say, no problem. You already have the data. And where does the data come from? An individual who automatically qualifies for the workfare income supplement should also automatically qualify for the full range of assistance. And this will include housing, childcare, student care, education, healthcare, and elder care subsidies. All this must be included. All right? And within this group of people, there are already 300,000 low-wage workers. And in order to get the workfare scheme, the WIS, the workfare income supplement scheme, they need to be gainfully employed. So this will send a signal that work is still the best means of improving your lifestyle. So what we are saying that there should be a single welfare workfare system that lets the government track more meaningful indicators of the well-being for the poor. And both of these require long-term aid as well as the temporary working poor. And the government can control these benefits that reach the intended person. How do you do that? Well, you can give the benefits in non-tradable vouchers other than cash, right? Because you know, if you give NTUC vouchers, what happens? Most of these people know how to discount the earnings, right? You give me a $100 NTUC voucher, I will sell this $80 for cash, all right? The person buying it for $80 saves $20, but I get $80 cash. That's not legal, but not the intended purpose, but that's what happens on the ground, all right? So for the government can ensure that these benefits are used for the intended purposes, you provide them in non-tradable vouchers. And in this way, you will make sure that the benefits, the automatic benefits, do not go against self-reliance or it will erode the work ethic. Singaporeans from the lower income households no longer have to jump through bureaucratic hoops. We will jump here, jump there, one form after another, to obtain assistance that they are actually entitled to. We at SINGFIRST, we feel that we have a responsibility to reduce the incidence of low-income Singaporeans. And low-income Singaporeans sometimes end up on the wrong track. Either not necessarily through their own fault, sometimes it's through a systemic design in the system, weakness in the systems. All right? So remember what the PAP promised in the beginning. You vote for the PAP and then they deliver. The question is, have they delivered for these people? Yes or no?
No.
Thank you. So there is a loss of trust in the PAP government. GC has already mentioned it yesterday, at the last rally in the Edelman Barometer survey, that most of the Singaporeans do not trust their government. So there is a loss of trust. There is a broken social compact because they are not delivering for these group of citizens. In the past, we used to accept government control or PAP government control, how we live, where we should live, what type of neighbors we should have, even small details, how long we should keep our hair. And what do we get in return? Job security and full employment. Today, my fellow Singaporeans, instead we have a Prime Minister that tells us to be paranoid, always. Why? Because we know that somebody can take our lunch away. If you do not agree with this statement, you do not agree, then do the right thing. Restore our nation. We vote for change. We vote to put Singaporeans first in Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. David Fu. Now, before I introduce the next speaker, we have SINGFIRST has prepared foldable fans and clappers, and we certainly hope you can assist us by purchasing and collecting these items, later in the evening or on your way home. Thank you so much.大家啊，有人叫你啊，是讲你赞成哦，你起手是哦。但是咧，SINGFIRST啊，无需要你咁做，你免起手，你摇手就好。Okay, let me introduce the next speaker from Jurong GRC, retired Colonel, Mr. Tang.
Good evening, my fellow Singaporeans and voters of Tanjong Pagar GRC. My name is Tan Peng An, and I'm the SINGFIRST candidate for the Jurong GRC. I'm a loyal Singaporean, and I feel and care for Singaporeans. Although I'm 67 years old, I feel that I can still contribute to the objective of bringing about a better Singapore, a better tomorrow. And I joined the Singaporeans First Party so that we can have a fair society, strong families, and esteemed people. Some say that 67 years is old. Old for politics, they say. They put in all the young people. Yes, I agree with you. And to them I say this. 姜还是老的辣. In Cantonese we say, 姜越老越辣啊. So I believe that we can do something even at this age for Singaporeans. I left the SCAF after 30 years of service. I felt that something was not right. The first 40 years of Singapore's independence, I think is okay. But the last 10 years, I think is bad. There's so much arrogance in the PAP. They want to fix all of us. And they call us by various names. I think that is bad. Let me just start by asking a few questions. Do you like to have a government dominated only by the PAP? Yes or no? Absolutely no. Yes? Yeah. Do you like laws and legislation to be passed in Parliament with little or no debate? No. But despite all this, what happens? So it is important that Singaporeans like us, young and old, young and old, focus on the Singapore political environment that is currently dominated by a one-party government. The Workers' Party is there, but I think not in sufficient numbers. If we do not check this, the bills will be passed and decisions made for the country because we have little representation in Parliament. So as responsible citizens, as parents, grandparents, we must constantly check on the decisions of the government and look at how policies affect all of us, affect our children and our grandchildren. There will be a lot of concerns over their education, their social environment, the jobs, the cost of living, cost of housing, education, transport, healthcare, the whole works. And we cannot leave it to just one party. We also need the second key, the second keys. So see, we need good alternate. We need alternative or opposition parties in parliament, and they have to be elected to influence and prevent the easy passage of legislation. Let's take the instance of the population paper. Much has been said of the population issue. I don't want to cover that. But what I want to highlight from the paper are not the figures, but the impact and consequences of the increased population. How will the increase affect all of us as ordinary people, ordinary Singaporeans? You take the MRT, I take the MRT. You take the bus, I take the bus. The ministers doesn't take the bus. They doesn't take the MRT. Whenever they take, somebody follows them. Everybody makes way for them. Alright? Very different. So what do we do? Have the papers that they put up in parliament taken into account your feelings? Your feelings. Did the paper talk about how the increase will affect the ordinary people like you? Now the fact remains, whether you like it or not, we are taking in 20,000 new citizens each year. You calculate, 20,000 each year. That means every month you have 1,500 new citizens given new citizenship. And they say this is to prevent the shrinking of the population. Now let me just show you some figures. Not counting the number of new citizens taken in so far. Over the next 15 years, we will be having yet another 300,000 new citizens. That means foreigners coming in, we give them Singapore citizenship. Many years ago, you carry a Singapore passport, you are very great, right? Today, you throw a stone, people also can get Singapore citizenship. How will this affect us and our social environment, like healthcare, transport, education? And within the next 15 years, you'll see at least another 1.5 million people in Singapore. The population today is about 5.3, 5.4. In the next 15 years, we're going to add another 1.5 million. Can you imagine what Singapore will be like? Think about it. Now I'm concerned about future Singapore, where our future senior citizens and our grandchildren will live in, and the kind of tremendous pressures that they will be put under. We will need to change, but we have been conditioned not to change. Let me show you this little angkong. Can you all see this angkong? This angkong is the frog sitting in water very comfortably, but below it is the little fire heating up the water. Now we are something like that, alright? And we will have to do something about it, because if we keep on sitting in the water like this, we will be boiled one day without understanding and knowing anything. Alright? So I want all of us to prevent ourselves from being cooked over the next 15 years. We have to do something. Kambing, huh? So we have to change. We have to change. And I will suggest that all of us vote for change. We should restore the nation. Restore the nation. And we vote for Singaporeans first. Thank you.
Thank you, retired Colonel Tang. It's often we've gone around and we said, when we talk, they ask us to shut up, right? And when we keep quiet, they say we agree. And then when we talk back, they say we mencaisi. It's really difficult. So, anyway, I'm going to introduce you to our next candidate. If you could put your hands together for the Tanjong Pagar GRC candidate, Mr. Melvin Chu. And for those of you who is standing or sitting around there, if you can't hear, please come closer, because that's the areas where you probably can't hear us very clearly.
Friends and residents of Tanjong Pagar GRC, good evening to you. My name is Melvin Chu. I'm 36 years old this year, and I'm your candidate for Tanjong Pagar GRC. Thank you for taking your time off to attend tonight's rally. Tonight, I'm very delighted to see many of you here. Your presence here has proven to me that you are not distracted by the suspicious TV programs that MediaCorp is playing during this period of time. More importantly, I know that you are gathered here because you care for our beloved Singapore, and that you care for the future of our younger generation. Tonight, I would like to assure you that we are not the rooster that crows when the sun rises. Neither are we here to throw pieces of meat for you to chase. This GE2015, we are here for more serious business. Our team has made a lot of sacrifices to be here. We have invested our time, our money, and put our reputation on the line to be on this stage. We as Singaporeans first want to make sure that your interests are best served. And we are not shy to say that we want to be your speaker in Parliament. Like many of our young Singaporeans, I understand the anxieties and concerns about finding a good job here. The influx of foreigners has caused many of us to look constantly over our shoulders. Their presence here has depressed our wages, especially in the PMET class. They are competing with us for our space and have stretched our infrastructure. They have taken good jobs away from hard-working Singaporeans like us. Dear friends, it is also important for you to note, we as Singaporeans first are not xenophobic. We do recognize the importance of foreign workers to our economy. Foreign talents at the top tier, they can bring in good ideas and investments to our society. There are also those who fall in the work permit class. They feel the bottom, jobs that some of us dislike to do. What we are really concerned with tonight are jobs in the class. Jobs that should belong to us Singaporeans. Our parents have paid thousands of dollars to send us to university. They hope for us to find good jobs and security for our future. Some of us have even taken study loans. Sadly, when we look for a job, we face competition from cheaper foreigners. They are willing to accept lower wages and have brought along their fake degrees. And some of them have even infiltrated our government agencies. Is this the society we want to live in? Is this the future we want for Singaporeans? I'm here tonight because I know many of us have such unhappiness which we have swallowed up quietly. This GE, Singaporeans First, would like to address these issues if we are voted into Parliament. These are the issues that we would like to fight for young Singaporeans. Let us speak up for you. Let us air your grievances. Do not fear anymore. Do not let the government scare you. Use your vote to make a change. Friends and residents, always remember, you are Singapore's most important asset. We will make sure that you are taken care of in our own country. We will not let foreigners take your jobs away. Join us in restoring our nation. Vote for Singaporeans First.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin Chu. I'd like to introduce the next speaker from Jurong GRC, Mr. Wong Sun. Please put your hands together. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Wong Sun, candidate for Jurong GRC. I can feel your fire tonight. You have great fire. Show me your fire. Are you on fire right now? Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I've come here, I've heard you, and I know your voices, not the noises that the government said about you. And please, tonight, let us share our dream and our spirit. Your presence tonight has greatly encouraged me. You have shown me what encouragement is all about. You have shown the strength that we are one united people. Are we not loyal people of Singapore? Are we not loyal citizens of Singapore? Are we not loyal advocates for a true Singaporean cause? 多謝大家，今晚可以嚟到呢度。好榮幸睇到你大家，你大家俾我嘅支持，俾我落力，希望大家可以繼續支持新加坡個夢。多謝各位來到這度，各位能跨能簡單講慶祝新加坡最近幾十年來。真多物件改變，希望你大家敢能鬥卡手。The rich poor inequality, the gap in Singapore has risen over the past several years. Even you can see our Gini coefficient, it has risen beyond 0.4. Anything that has risen beyond 0.4 is considered as a danger point. So right now, we as loyal citizens of Singapore, how do you feel right now? Exactly, we are all miserable, aren't you all? I applaud you. I salute you. What has happened in these few years? We see rising cost of living, wages being depressed badly. And what has even more depressed us is basically the high influx of foreign workers. 今晚我未嚟呢度之前，我搭呢個地鐵，一位理事同我講，新加坡太多外國人，尤其是中國同埋印度，而家個人口多到我哋大家唔透得氣。最近我哋喺瀝西地鐵站喺處行，我睇到好多外國人。覺得新加坡唔係新加坡人嘅地方，你哋有冇咁嘅感覺？有。多謝你，講得啱。謝謝你。係啊，冇得撈啊，講得啱啊。好多新加坡人都差唔多冇得撈。冇得撈。沒有工作做。差一點，我們很多新加坡人差不多要加德士。最近我做很多德士，因為我要去走，然後我見到很多那些居民跟我說，還有那些德士司機，最重要就是為什麼政府會批這個Uber taxi？對我來說，Uber taxi不是60年代的霸王車嗎？你說對不對？這些霸王車沒有通過法律，沒有通過政治，為什麼會通過？現在很多家德士都跟我投訴說，哎，我沒有飯吃了。你說慘不慘？如果現在新加坡的情況是這麼慘的話，我們的60人點去發展，點去謀生呢？所以現在我們要對政府，我們的政府說，夠就夠，我們已經受夠了，現在我們要改革。對，我們要給 BAP 一個警告，說我們現在已經受夠，我們要掌權，我們要搞一個新的新加坡夢。國人黨。對，國人為先黨，國人為先黨。我哋唔可以解決呢個問題，我哋點解決下一代嘅問題呢？所以我哋要選舉嘅時候要諗好清楚，我哋個下一代，因為到時候你個下一代點問你阿爺，你點幫我？所以我們要知道，我們一定要做好一個選擇，你的選擇就是未來的新加坡夢。希望你們多多支持我們，為我們復原我們的新加坡夢，我們的家園，我們的國家，還有我們的精神，那是最重要的。最重要，別忘記投一個很好的票給我們國人為先黨，謝謝你，謝謝你。
今晚看到這麼多新加坡人，國人為先黨真的很鼓勵，因為畢竟我們是很年輕的黨。那I'll continue with English. I understand that some of our audience are seated and they may not hear us very clearly. So I would appreciate if you can't hear us, perhaps you could step forward. But anyway, whether you're seated or you're standing, we really appreciate your participation tonight. So cheer us on, please. Thank you. Now I'm waiting for the chairs to be ready. I have a few messages. We have been getting comments on social media that we are xenophobic. Xenophobic party does not represent us. Okay? We are not a xenophobic party. 我们不是排. We welcome Singaporeans. We welcome new citizens. Let's welcome the 10 candidates on stage. And I'd like to introduce the candidate for Tanjong, Mr. Shro Desai. Please put your hands together. Thank you.
Hello, my Singaporean brothers and sisters. Uncle and aunties. Wan Sang Hao, Taka, Cie Cie. Selamat datang, Pakcik, Pakcik, Tuan, Puan. Vanakkam, Makale. I am Shro Desai, a true blue Singaporean Indian. I thank you all for your support tonight, and I devote this to all Singaporeans. I come here to share 6 issues that will seriously impact all Singaporeans if they remain, and what we, SINGFIRST, can do for you. Do we want better job creation and foreign workforce? Many PMATs have lost their jobs to foreign talent. Many fresh graduates are not able to find suitable jobs. We suffer from and underemployment. Why? Because the government has grossly shortchanged us. The financial industry is swamped with PMATs from other countries. Singapore politicians have attained a first world standard, but we Singaporeans are headed towards a third world standard. SINGFIRST will help to craft a bill that will help our PMATs. We'll train our locals to take up the jobs, which can be funded from a 5% surplus from the sovereign fund and not even touch our national reserves. Sweeteners like the wage credit scheme and the fair consideration framework, the core problem itself. To make it worse, there is a plan to build the southern of foreign talent much worse. Number 2, public healthcare system. When we visit public hospitals, we face if they all get recalled back to their country one day. We will face it for our pioneer generation and all our elders. Singapore has invested billions of dollars into ministries for youths, but yet youths are not given the right to express and participate in political, economic, and social decision-making processes. We quote our famous Amos Yee. He is, after all, a 16-year-old teenager and had been jailed but given no voting rights. We challenge Ms. Indrani Raja when she said, "They do not know you like we do. They will not care for you the same that we do."
Bullshit!
When we, SINGFIRST, knocked on every door in Tanjong Pagar GRC that we can find, we were shocked to find many residents that said, "We haven't seen our MP come by for years." One resident even mentioned, "Restore our nation, vote SINGFIRST." Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shirag Desai. And our next candidate from Jurong GRC, Mr. Wong Chu.
Good evening, residents of Tanjong Pagar GRC. Thank you for coming to our rally, and we appreciate your presence tonight. As this GRC has relatively high numbers of elderlies, hence I will be addressing my speech in Cantonese. 各位大家好。OK， 今晚我會用廣東話同你哋大家傾一傾，好嗎？唔該晒。首先咧，我要聲明一下，我今日台上嘅台風嘅風格唔代表我嘅人格 ，OK？ 明白，唔該晒。如果咧你係咁講話我嘅人格係咁咧，對你同我唔公平嘅，好冇 ？OK？ 如果你呢度教出嚟嘅唔冇人才嘅話，我本身有兩個理由。邊兩個理由咧？第一，隔夜之間人才變蠢才。第二，每年4億投資喺學生嗰邊，學完咗拜拜鬆人，有冇可能？絕對有咁嘅可能。OK， 所以我認為，我同我個隊員認為，用呢4億投翻支我哋新加坡小朋友應唔應該？應該。負唔負責任？負責任。咁嘅政府啱唔啱？如果係咁做，絕對啱，絕對冇錯，啱唔啱？所以咧，我哋各人為先黨建議應該投翻支4億喺我哋嘅小朋友嚟培養出我哋自己新加坡嘅人才。啱啦！唔該晒。咁呢4億咧邊度嚟啊？呢個係我哋新加坡投資嘅回報我哋每年都有投資㗎，咁每年都有回報嘅。我哋用翻呢個回報嚟支持我哋嘅小朋友咁政府唔會講話，哇！你哋會將我哋嘅國家整到破產，唔係喎，儲備金永遠喺嗰度，儲備金冇喐到。OK， 係食你嘅利息嘅啫，食利息冇錯啊嘛，啱唔啱？啱。Thank you。咁咧，呢個建議應該唔會俾對方反對啊嘛，啱唔啱啊？所以咧，千祈唔好講我哋反對黨講話天下無敵，做就無能為力最後，我請大家記住3點 ，OK？ 第一點，請投票改革；第二，恢復我哋嘅國家；第三，請投各人為先隊1票。唔該。
Thank you, Mr. Wong Chi Wai. The next speaker from Tanjong Pagar GRC is Mr. Fami Rais. Please put your hands together. Thank you.
Good evening. Everybody's my friends here. Good evening, friends. Let me start by repeating my call that this election is about saving our country. This election is about restoring our nation. This small island is all we've got. It's for Singaporeans, not Singaporean. Okay, are you with me on that? We only have each other. My children's future is in your hands. And your children's future is in mine. Can we give our children's future to the foreigners? No! I guess as much. Now let me say, or continue my speech in Malay, which as Singaporeans, I'm sure uncle, aunties, a little bit of Malay. The foreigners don't know Malay. My colleague said that he's true blue Singaporean. I consider myself politically correct Singaporean. I am a Malay. I look every bit like a Chinese. And my wife sitting there is an Indian. I am Singapore to you. Salam warga Singapura. Sejarah Tanjong Pagar bermula lagi. 60 tahun dahulu, ibu bapa kita beri peluang kepada parti pembangkang yang kemudiannya jadi parti pemerintah. Dan Singapura terus merdeka lepas tu. Sekarang saya minta generasi kali ini memberi peluang yang sama kepada parti pembangkang supaya kita boleh bawa perubahan yang lebih positif kepada negara ini. Bilangan masyarakat Melayu di Singapura ini lebih kurang 13% saja, atau 600,000. Kita mempunyai kadar kelahiran yang paling tinggi, tapi peratusan kita setiap tahun makin menurun. Tak logik tu. Macam mana kita boleh banyak anak tapi percentage kita turun? Hanya kerana ada pro-imigrasi polisi. Pemerintah yang membawa pendatang asing datang ke sini dan memberikan citizenship dengan sewenang-wenangnya. Mana kita akan pergi? Itu persoalannya. Mereka datang, warga-warga asing ni dia sapu kita habis. Hari ni dia dapat IC, besok dia apply BTO, kita belum dapat kunci dia dah masuk. Lepas 5 tahun dia bekerja, dia jual itu flat, dia dapat untung, CPF dia keluarkan, dia balik negeri, dia kaya raya. Awak dan saya, kita jadi apa? Kita kaya sepanjang hidup kita bayar hutang. Tapi itulah Singapura sekarang. Sekarang kita nak cari kerja bukan senang. Ada kelulusan pun belum tentu dapat kerja. Anak kita tanggung daripada sekolah rendah, menengah sampai universiti. Pemerintah kasih 400 juta pada penduduk asing untuk anak mereka datang belajar di sini. Mana pergi masa depan kita? Kalau kita hilang pekerjaan kerana kita bersaing dengan bangsa sendiri di Singapura, saya boleh terima. Kita hilang pekerjaan bersaing dengan PR, saya rasa kita masih boleh terima. Tapi kita hilang pekerjaan bersaing dengan warga asing yang hanya datang sini nak meraup keuntungan, itu saya tak boleh terima. Anda boleh terima ke? Saya tengok supervisor kat McDonald pun warga asing. Apa anak-anak kita tak boleh jadi supervisor di McDonald? Kalau mereka boleh jadi kru, mereka juga boleh jadi supervisor. Saya tengok sekarang, jangan kata supervisor di McDonald, pembantu guru di sekolah tadika pun sudah bangsa asing atau warga asing. Jangan terperanjat kalau anak balik tanya guru, tanya teacher, today what time are we go back? Tapi itulah Singapura sekarang. Pekerja asing, diorang boleh terima gaji rendah. 800, 900 dia boleh ambil. Dia balik negeri dia dah beribu tu. Kita yang kat sini ni tak boleh ke mana? Kita gaji minima, kita tuntut tak dapat. Tak ada gaji minima untuk orang Singapura. Tapi untuk mereka, gaji maksima ada dalam. Gaji maksima yang paling tinggi dalam dunia. Perdana Menteri kita mendapat gaji 4 kali lebih ganda daripada Obama. Berapa besar di Singapura ni? Di syarikat-syarikat besar sekarang, kita warga Singapura minta kerja, yang interview kita kadang-kadang warga asing. Pengalaman tersebut, agensi rekrutmen juga sekarang dikelolai oleh warga asing. Jadi kita ni duduk bertanya meminta pekerjaan dengan warga asing. Saya cukup malu dengan keadaan ini. Tapi inilah yang berlaku di Singapura. Kita bukan anti pendatang atau anti warga asing. Kita tahu kita perlukan mereka. Tapi kalau kita pergi Orchard Road dan kita rasa kita pula yang jadi pelancong, ada benda lah tak kena. Betul? Kita lihat Australia. Kalau kita nak berhijrah ke Australia sekarang, kalau kita tidak ada kepakaran yang mereka mahu, pintu tak terbuka. Berapa kita nak bayar pun dia tak ambil. Sebab dia nak jaga warga dia sendiri. Kita tak ada. Jangan kata pintu kita buka besar, tingkap kita pecah, bumbung pun dah tak ada. Semua masuk daripada macam-macam arah. Tapi itulah Singapura sekarang. Masyarakat Melayu dia minta supaya berintegrasi. Apa dia tak tahu ke? Kita lah yang paling baik dalam soal integrasi. Wah, marah betul. Kita halau dia balik ni. Okay. Soal tudung. Banyak yang suruh saya bangkitkan soal ni. Saya sebenarnya tak nampak apa isu ni tentang tudung. Saya tak faham kenapa dia tak kasih kita pakai, atau muslimat kita pakai tudung. Saya tak faham. Lihat pada negara-negara maju lainnya. Di Amerika, di Kanada, di UK, pegawai polis dan tentera mereka, wanitanya boleh dibenarkan pakai tudung. Kita yang dekat hospital pun tak boleh. Bukannya dia keluar dekat dalam bangunan pun. Fikirkan, di Amerika Syarikat masyarakat Islamnya hanya 2%. Di Kanada 3%. Di UK 5%. Dan mereka boleh lebih prihatin terhadap keperluan orang Islam. Kita yang 13% ni masih terkial-kial. Macam mana ni?
Biar pakai tudung. Biar pakai tudung.
Tapi itulah Singapura sekarang.
Biar pakai tudung.
Masalah kedua, pengangkutan. Ini masalah yang saya rasa semua terkena lah. Saya dah cakap di rally Jurong mengenai COE. Di Singapura sajalah satu-satunya negeri dalam seluruh dunia yang punya kereta sebenarnya sewa kereta.
Betul.
Awak tak punya kereta tu. Itu kereta bukan milik awak. Awak bayar lebih 100,000, lepas 10 tahun kena kasih balik. Nak sambung bawa kereta? Boleh. Bayar lagi, sewa lagi 5 tahun. Habis bayar 7 tahun, 9 tahun, memandangkan itu bukan hak milik kereta.
Alibaba.
Tak ada negeri lain yang buat cara macam itu. Tapi inilah Singapura.
Alibaba Singapura.
Dia katakan dia nak adakan ERP sebab nak kawal kenderaan di kawasan bandar. Kita percaya. Dia letak 12 ERP di kawasan bandar.
No freedom.
Lepas tu dia letak lebih 50 ERP di luar kawasan bandar. Apa kena-mengena tu dengan kawasan kewangan Singapura? Itu kawasan perumahan Singapura, bukan kawasan kewangan Singapura.
Kita cetek.
Ingat setiap kali awak tengok kertas, apa kertas kita pandang, itulah 80,000 COE yang kita kena bayar. Lebih mahal daripada enjin, lebih mahal daripada tempat duduk dan sebagainya. Kemudian pengangkutan awam. Saya cakap awam. Awam artinya untuk orang ramai. Tapi cara pentadbirannya seperti syarikat swasta. Harga semua naik. Bas baru bulan April ni baru naik. Tapi kemudahan dan kelesisaan tak ada. Selesa tak ada MRT bila waktu sibuk. Uncle, you are very Taksi tak semua orang boleh bawa. Tak semua orang boleh mampu. Kena waktu, kena kereta, harga taksi memang tinggi. Tapi kita terpaksa lah. Sebab tak ada kereta sendiri. Kalau kenderaan awam pun dah susah, kita naik taksi. Kita pun sokong abang-abang bawa taksi kita. Tapi sekarang yang bawa taksi pun warga baru. Warga baru yang tak tahu jalannya, dia pakai GPS, dia ikut je. Kita dengan warga baru yang bawa taksi ni dah macam ayam dengan itik berbual. Kita cakap ikut jalan sini, dia nak ikut jalan sana. Kereta belum jalan, kita dah bergaduh. Dah tak ada lagi cerita-cerita lama yang kita boleh berborak-borak dengan pemandu taksi. Itulah Singapura pada hari ini. Bila kedatangan pendatang asing ni masuk, habis berjuta-juta pembelanjaan tentang kempen budi bahasa, gaya hidup Singapura semua habis. Kerana kita ni kita diminta untuk berintegrasi dengan mereka, bukan mereka berintegrasi dengan kita. Dah terbalik ni. Gaya mereka, cara kita memang tak selesa. Jadi kita perlukan negara gini dikembalikan pada kita, supaya kita rasa ini betul-betul tempat kita. Sebab kita tak ada tempat lain lagi. Awak nak balik ke mana? Tekong? Ubin?
Balik Mexico.
Balik Mexico je. Sebenarnya banyak lagi yang ingin saya katakan. Soal CPF, kita diminta kerja sampai sekarang 67 tahun. Dia kata kadar ataupun lifespan masyarakat Singapura sekarang sudah melampaui 70 atau melebihi 70 tahun. Saya tak tahu daripada mana mereka dapat data ini. Kerana tahun ini saja. Ini tahun duka cita saya. 7 dalam 10 kenalan saya yang saya kenali semua meninggal dunia di bawah paras umur 50 tahun. Belum sempat rasa CPF mereka lagi. Jadi soal CPF juga soal Singapura, soal yang sensitif, soal yang kita perlu ambil balik. Saya ingin akhiri ucapan saya sama seperti saya akhiri ucapan saya di rally di Jurong dengan satu pantun yang diberi oleh Cikgu Kamin. Pantun ini pantun yang kena dengan nilai-nilai yang ingin kami perjuangkan di parti warga diutamakan, iaitu masyarakat yang saksama, keutuhan family dan rasa penghormatan diri yang tinggi. Pantun dia berbunyi, jika bersentuh gemala hikmat, memancar prisma menjadi tanjung. Family utuh, rakyat terhormat, adil saksama, negara maju. Terima kasih dan ingat, bila mengundi Jumaat Harapan, kita warga Singapura sepatutnya diutamakan. Bukan warga Singapura yang menumpang di negara sendiri. Tapi itulah Singapura sekarang ini. Merdeka kita!
Ya tak iya pun cakap ni Encik Fami ni. Betul tak cakap Encik Fami tu? Tak dengar tu, betul tak?
Wow. Fami certainly spoke Malay so eloquently. And now, ladies and gentlemen, have you gone on the internet and heard about the SINGFIRST cheer? Yes or no? Yes or no? Would you like to hear it? Come on, let's have the 10 candidates bring you the SINGFIRST cheer.
Alright, this is your chance to sing it with us.
That is the cheer we invented for all Singaporeans. Sing first. Yes. One more. You want to hear it? I can't hear you.
But you have to do it with us, together with us. All right?
Are you ready? Are you ready? 1, 2, go. Sing first, sing first, sing first. Sing first, sing first, sing first. Sing first, sing first, sing first. Thank you, everybody.
Once again, for those of you who's just coming in right now, I'd like to thank you for coming to Singaporeans' first GE2015 rally. Our next speaker is from a GRC candidate. So will you please put your hands together and welcome Mr. Sept.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is so nice to see such a huge crowd today at the first Tanjong Pagar GRC's election rally. Thank you. Good evening to everyone. Thank you for coming, for taking the time off to be with us at this stadium. Let this rally become one of the rallying cries for freedom and for much more voices in our parliament. I wanted to talk about an issue on transport, but I also want to say something about our beloved Tanjong Pagar. Mr. Chan Chun Sing. Mr. Chan Chun Sing said early stages before the election was announced that do not take Tanjong Pagar as a trophy. My dear fellow citizens, Mr. Chan Chun Sing is a former Major General in the Singapore Armed Forces.
Yes, man.
I want to ask Mr. Chan, does he know the meaning of a trophy? If you check your Wikipedia, if you go back to the Roman Empire, a trophy or a standard, something, a war spoils, spoils from war, taken away by the victorious soldiers. That is a trophy. Trophy from a war between two warring nations. SINGFIRST, comprised of the citizens of Singapore. Are we the enemies of the state? No. Why must he use the word trophy? Before these people say certain things which hurt all of us, we are Singaporeans. Many of us are ex-civil servants. We work for the people. And we still want to work for the people. I am 64 years old. I have the energy. I have the power still. I am not gonna sit at home doing nothing. I want to be involved in a change which is over the horizon. It is coming, akan datang. Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, he won in Tanjong Pagar as an opposition candidate, as a struggling lawyer defending trade unions. I will talk about trade unions today and how they are being defended if I have the time, or I will keep it for some other rallies. My dear citizens, Tanjong Pagar has a rich history. Tanjong Pagar is synonymous with the Singapore Harbour Board. A thriving port of call, ships coming from Aden to Zanzibar. Or we can say it was a distance between Ang Mo Kio to the zoo. Alright, so much of thriving activities in our Tanjong Pagar. And they say we were a fishing village. Lia Hu, Tiao Hu, Uli Yu Bo. Hao Xiao, Jin Sit Hao Xiao Bo, Chi Kwan and Mi Jiang, Singapore Ku Bai, Go Cha Kui Ni Jing Sit, Jin Jue, Jin Jue, Kang Kue Bi Ji Dao, Jin Jue Lang, Tan Lui Bi Ji Dao, Go Nang Min Si, Tiao Hu, Lia Hu Le Lang. Okay? Kamsia, terima kasih. Sama-sama. Bagus. Tanjong Pagar has famous names. Maybe the older generation knows. Jamit Singh. You can Google on him. He's dead anyway. You have Puttucherry. Father, whose son is Janil Puttucherry today. You have Devan Nair. You have Muhammad Qasim Abdul Jabbar. And of course, Joshua Benjamin Jayaratnam, the late JBJ. You know, when MKA Jabbar stood for election on a PAP ticket, I was on duty at the Singapore Conference Hall in Shenton Way. The late MKA Jabbar was shivering. You know why? Because next to him was the ward ensign held by JBJ. Until the late Lee Kuan Yew told him, and it is written for you all to check back, jangan takut. Why must Lee Kuan Yew assure the late MKA Jabbar not to be takut? One opposition candidate, Mr. JBJ, sent shivers of fears into so many PAP MPs there. We need to increase the numbers. Hougang, Potong Pasir, and many other areas which fall, finally the GRC which fall, Aljunied. So many changes have been coming in. But my learned friends from the PAP do not want to admit that it is the presence of the many opposition candidates within the August Parliament that make them introduce a lot of things and pay a little bit of attention to your needs. It is because of more voices in the Parliament. You all must support our Tanjong Pagar candidates.
Tanjong Pagar!
Get them into Parliament with a leader like Mr. Tan Ji Se. PAP parliamentarians will have sleepless nights.
Thank you! Thank you!
为晒看对对古里讲就爱做讲。No cutting of ribbons here. No hello, hello, hello there. No, they must work. And we want them to work. They are paid a very good salary, your money. And they must work. You bring us into the Parliament. We will make sure we will roar and make them into mouse. We need change. Many years have passed. You all sitting here, many of you all are grandfathers like me. 我是做阿公了，我有两个孙仔，我点点想因人，我想恁人的囝，我想恁人的孙仔，我真正激心。阮人有会声了。袂使买这个 housing board 的厝，阮人的囡仔，阮人的孙仔爱找钱伫倒落，什么人爱互因人这个钱去买的厝？外国的人来新加坡抢阮人的工，阮人拢总无工开了。
叫人去死啊！
阮人是新加坡的人，
啊，对，三款，
安怎你管？
啊，回来的，
红毛是讲 ，charity begins at home. You must take care of your citizens first. Then come the others. There is no country in the world so liberal, 四位好心可能新加坡。你爱卖炒粿条，你拿你的 PR， 你爱做什么？到真多派人伫个人趁钱啊！免是讲马路这个人来这道做工，外国的派囝入新加坡，外国的派囝日本的ヤクザ，外国的派囝拢总入新加坡 control 个人，安尼做谋杀 case， 我古拜做警察，无这款的代志。古拜人徛监房，我无看到这款的代志。按照当今安尼做谋杀，安尼做人，这个中国的人，爱逮捕伊个阮人的老翁就知道，养伊还是阴阳还是什么的，了忘记。 Kau PAPA Dr. Intan Azura ti Ang Mo Kyo Kong. Yang erang very good. Ani cui gua kok elang lai chitao liao. Singapore means Gunang is Singaporean. Singapore tong kim si kalang water penyu. Fami rice balukong. Singaporean. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a democracy. We follow the Westminster style. We are a democracy. There is nothing to fear.
No fear.
My dear, voting is a secret. Be surprised even if honorable members of the PAP with a clear conscience are also voting for us, the opposition. Nobody knows. Conscience is important. You can lie once, you can lie two. 你袂使点点骗人。Okay? Please vote for Singapore first. Singaporean First Party. Vote our members of Tanjong Pagar and also vote us from Jurong GRC. Let the 10 lions in blue enter the parliament. With your support, they will roar. We will parliament. We will make them wake up. They are already sleeping in parliament. Parliament is not to sleep. Parliament is to parley. Parley means to talk and talk and talk and find something good for Singaporeans. Terima kasih. Kamsia. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It was a pleasure and I look forward to your support. Majulah Singapura. Hidup SINGFIRST. Hidup Singapura. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sudet Singh。朋友們，你講這Sudet Singh嘅福建不講冇？會使講冇？So，是你來聽Sudet Singh嘅一代咧，你會記得甲你朋友講，我能夠會再來Tanjong Pagar過加一個諮詢會吼，所以咧。You know, next will be Jurong, but then we'll be coming to Tanjong Pagar again. So please spread by word of mouth or by social media. Don't think that SINGFIRST are mouse. We are not mouse. Yes. Mouse, they know how to get around things. Okay? That's the intelligence of a mice. So, ladies and gentlemen, I can see that the crowd is building up. And we are ready for the next candidate to speak. Please give your warmest welcome to the candidate for Tanjong Pagar GRC, Mr. Tang Ji Say.
Good evening, fellow Singaporeans and residents of Tanjong Pagar and Jurong GRC. Thank you for coming. It's such wonderful to see a warm reception like yours. 蘇爹正夠講話咧，我免講啦咯，冇事咪講啦咯，但是我咪是愛講，我用英文講話。I want to start with a special message to the people of Tanjong Pagar. We make history today! This is the first election rally in 24 years that is held on the soil of Tanjong Pagar. And not on an adjacent constituency like Rading Mas that the PAP went to. They went to the wrong constituency. You have not voted for your members of parliament for 24 years. You have been denied your basic right. We are giving it back to you. You Tanjong Pagar residents were trendsetters, brave trendsetters. In 1955, you voted in an opposition MP, Lee Kuan Yew, who then went on to form the government. In 1959, you do it again. Vote us in as your MPs, and we will form the nucleus of the next government that you can be proud of. We have assembled a well-diversified team of candidates, combining professionals with grassroots community leaders. Let me start with Dr. Ang Yong Kwan, our party chairman. He is a widely known doctor with more than 23 years of experience as a grassroots leader. He appears on television very often, Channel 8 and on Channel 5 too, as a specialist psychiatrist whose views are very well sought on what ails society. Next, Shirak Desai, a young banker working on risk management in a foreign bank. He is 38 years old. With his experience in risk management, when we take over a town council, we will make sure that the accounting is right, that risks are minimized. He is also a secretary of his neighborhood committee in Juchet constituency. He is a straight A student from RI and RGJC with a master's degree from a top US university. We also have another young master's graduate, Melvin Chu, who works in an MNC and understands the problems of young professionals, the PMETs, whose jobs are under threat from foreigners who come in freely on S and employment passes, S and E passes. S passes are for semi-professionals. This pass has been abused by foreigners and they come in. Even people with PhDs have come in on S passes. Those from China and India, they are prepared to accept salaries of 2004, 2005 and work in our universities. This is far lower than even our basic degree graduates are prepared to accept. 3002, 3003 for bachelor's graduates. But these PhD students from China and India come in as researchers in our local university on S passes, and they take away jobs from our other PhDs. In A-star, yes, I know a lot. A lot of foreigners who earn a lot more, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. They were told to renew on S passes, but they said no way. But others have stayed on. A lot of others from Western countries have stayed on S passes. This is an abuse. They should come in on E passes, not S passes. Next, we have Fami Rice, a broadcast veteran and media consultant. He is well known in the Malay community, having initiated a few Malay language programs on television. The PAP team has 2 minority candidates, but not a single Malay one. They have taken the Malay community for granted. They are shortchanging our Malay brothers and sisters. Imagine no Malay MP in Tanjong Pagar for 24 years. We will give you a Malay MP in this election. Lastly, there is me, the 5th candidate. I worked as civil servant, investment banker and fund manager for nearly 30 years. I trained as an economist at Oxford University. I headed economic and manpower training, planning in the Ministry of Trade and Industry and served as secretary to the late Dr. Albert Winsemius, who was the economic advisor to the Singapore government. He visited Singapore 1 or 2 times a year, and each time he visited Singapore, I accompanied him on his meetings with businessmen, unionists, and government ministers. And I always follow up with reports from the late Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew. I also work for Dr. Goh Keng Swee, the father of Singapore's modern economic development. I was principal private secretary to then DPM Goh Chok Tong for 5 years, after which I left to join the private sector, where I took charge of Asia Pacific operations for international banks and global institutions, heading Asia Pacific. I contested in the 2011 general elections and president election. A lot of you can recognize me in Tanjong Pagar, and we're happy that we are coming in. I have introduced you to the members of the Tanjong Pagar team. The other members of Jurong GRC, I will introduce them at the rally in Jurong subsequently. This time I concentrate on Tanjong Pagar. And you can see we are giving you a very balanced and competent team. Youth and experience policy making and grassroots exposure and experience. This is the theme that will take you forward and fight for your future. We talk about the future. The PAP talks only about the past. They talk about the past as if it was they who give you the past glory. They have lumped 50 years together as one past. But we have two pasts, not just one. The first 40 years and the last 10 years under the current PM. The first 40 years were relatively good years. But beginning from 2004, when Lee Hsien Loong took over, Singapore has been going down the drain. First, he introduced casinos. Then 1 million foreign workers who take away the jobs and space of Singaporeans, break up our families, and shatter our self-esteem. He gave us the first riot in Little India and the first labor strike in more than 40 years. No riot before him. When he became Prime Minister, we have riots, we have labor strike. No more peace for Singaporeans. Trains break down so frequently that we have lost count. Even the heavens cry over our misery, and tears flow down to flood our streets, including Orchard Road in Tanjong Pagar. Do you still want to vote in Lee Hsien Loong? No! To mess up your life with 5 more years of incompetence and misery!
Take him out! Sack him! VTO!
But the misery will last more than 5 years if you vote him in. PM talked last night about CPF and how you are getting higher interest rates. He is not telling you the whole truth. In fact, the PAP is shortchanging Singaporeans of our rightful returns on our CPF savings. I will explain. The average CPF member gets 2.5%, although some will get higher for additional amount or contribution to special schemes. But by and large, the average, most of us, get only 2.5%. Our CPF money is used to buy special government securities, which are then invested by GIC. The GIC attained an average of 6% return over 20 years, but you only get 2.5%. Contrast this with Malaysia's EPF, their CPF, which gave a dividend of 6.75% to Malaysians last year, but not the PAP government. Instead of sharing the higher return of 6% with you, they kept the excess return of about 3.5%. How much is this 3.5% in dollar terms? At the beginning of 2014, there were members' balances of $250 billion. you have put in the total of $250 billion at the end of 2013 and beginning of 2013 they invested. And if all this was invested by GIC, there will be an excess return of 3.5%, that is equivalent to $8.75 billion last year. This $8.75 billion has been taken away from you by the government in just 1 year, 2014. That is why the government surplus is so huge and the government is so rich, but more than half of Singaporeans do not have enough savings for their retirement years. They cheated you. PM made so much hoo-ha about $500 million being put into CPF voluntarily. But $500 million is less than 0.2% of total CPF balances of $275 billion at the end of 2014. What is this? 0.18% out of $275 billion. So, Mr. Prime Minister, please have a sense of proportion. Do not hide behind selective disclosure of information. They are very good at it. They don't tell you the whole truth. They just tell you something that is in their favor and then distort it. Be transparent, Prime Minister, and publish all information about investment returns on CPF funds. Right. Yes. Then Singaporeans will know the truth and how much we have been cheated of our rightful returns on our CPF savings. Yes. Then Singaporeans will vote out the PAP. And we will rise up in anger to demand the return of our money. PM claimed that PAP has delivered on all its promises. Yeah, nonsense. He has obviously forgotten the 5 C's that he promised us years ago. How many people remember the 5 C's? Oh, not many. You see, they promised this and they have forgotten about it. They did not remind you. That is why you have forgotten. Yeah, a lot of people remember the Swiss standard of living. But we said he gave us Shro standard of living. You know what is Shro? Maybe no more. In the days when we have pig farmers, they would come around, your leftover rice, leftover food, they will come and collect from you to feed the pigs. So Shro is for the pigs. They don't give us Swiss standard of living. They give us a Shro standard of living. As Sudev Singh reminded me, this term came from Sudev Singh. He remembers the days of pig farming. What are the 5 C's? Let me remind you. First, career. Your career has been thrown upside down by the liberal entry of foreigners, retrenchment, short-term hire of 2 to 3 years, instead of a career. Now, the government has started the trend. They employ you on contract, 2 to 3 years. In the past, you are employed on the permanent staff. Now, no more permanent staff. As a permanent staff, you are protected against unfair dismissal, against hire and fire. Now, you work on 2-3 years contract. At the end of 2 years, they don't renew you, you cannot do anything. This is what has happened to the first C. No more career security. Next, condominium and car, which are now out of reach for most people, even when they take out 30-year mortgages or 10-year loans for cars. And with these huge long-term loans, you won't be able to smell the fourth and fifth C's, which are cash and country club membership. So, fellow Singaporeans, do not believe in any more promises from the PAP. They are not serious. They will not keep promises. They only keep promises for themselves. Their $1 million salaries for themselves. I now want to talk about his other promise of leadership succession. He says this election of ours is putting on a team, a leadership team, choosing the next leadership team. But PAP has been saying this in every election. Any election they say, oh, you must choose the next leaders. If you don't choose us, you'll be in trouble. There is no leadership. Have they been serious and effective in this leadership succession exercise? They say succession planning takes 2 to 3 terms. So we should have key ministers from the 2006 team in the current core leadership team. But the only one from 2006 general election was Lee Kuan Yew, who has already resigned, not contesting in this election. So he has wasted 2 terms of on-the-job training. Exactly, wasting public money. $1 million a year for 10 years. $10 million just go down the drain to train a leader who has now resigned. Yeah, we transfer. Maybe he was told to go, but we don't know. You know, PAP is very good for wayang. They exchange letters here and there. So, who are we left with? No more from 2006. Of course, there are some ministers from 2006, even from 2001, even from 1976. A 74-year-old candidate from 76, but they are not in the core leadership team. So we have only 3 persons left. Chan Chun Sing, Tan Chuan Jin, and Lawrence Wong. They did not come from the 2006 team election. They came into Singapore leadership in 2011, only 4 years ago. And after 4 years of training, are they going to be your future prime ministers, finance minister, deputy prime minister? Can you trust them? What have they achieved so far as leaders? Yeah. Take Lawrence Wong. He was in charge of preparing the National Stadium for the SEA Games. But the natural glass in the stadium did not grow in time. They put in natural grass. And because they did not grow in time, they had to replace it with artificial glass. Yes, after spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, this natural glass is so expensive. They imported special one. But still it did not grow. What does this tell you about their competence and their sense of judgment? So we now know their true quality. Nothing natural, but all artificial plastic. Actually, the US Congress has some time ago, after visiting Singapore, I was told they described someone in the leadership as plastic mannequin. You know what's a mannequin? A figure with a body and it's made of plastic. Imagine the US congressman, I was told, compared our minister to a plastic mannequin. I won't tell you which one. I am sure WikiLeaks will expose him one day. Tang Chuan-jin is worse. As Manpower Minister, he is in charge of immigration. And he has let in foreign workers very liberally, including foreigners with non-recognized qualifications from doubtful educational institutions. Some netizens call them fake qualifications. And yes, Tang Chuan-jin presided over Singapore's first labour strike in 40 years. He was minister in charge of labour. But instead of giving us peace, controlling the peace, he gave us a little disturbance. PM's confidence in Tang Chuan-jin is so low that he has to ask Goh Chok Tong, not Tang Chuan-jin, to lead the Marine Parade team. They say co-lead, but what does it mean co-lead? There is only one leader, no co-leaders. You think Tang Chuan-jin will dare to tell Goh Chok Tong, move aside, I'm the leader, I'm the co-leader. And do you think Goh Chok Tong will accept Tang Chuan-jin as his equal? Goh Chok Tong is the oldest candidate in this election. He is an overstayer. He blocks the emergence of young leaders. He talks so much about leadership succession, but he is an obstacle to the emergence of new leaders. The longer he stays, well, the worse they get, of course. And the more difficult it is for young leaders to emerge. His presence in this election proves that PAP is paying lip service to leadership succession, which has failed totally. They are not serious. And Tang Chun-sing completes this circus of wayang and failure. Has Major General Tang Chun-sing won any war? Or even a small skirmish? You know, a little bit here and there. Where was he when there was a riot in Little India? Did Tang Chun-sing help or ridicule the poor when he was Minister of Family and Community? This man refused to define the poverty index in Singapore, but instead distracted people with 18 layers of kueh lapis. No, I didn't know that kueh lapis has 18 layers. I thought only 2 or 3, 4 or 5 layers, you know. But he has got so much time on his hands. I wonder what he does in his office. That he can even examine, he can even tell you that there are 18 layers in a kueh lapis. He even took delight in expensive XO Chai Tao Kueh. He tells people about Chai Tao Kueh. The XO one, you know. I don't know whether how much of, I'm sure he has experienced it. I have not eaten XO Chai Tao Kueh before. Mine is only plain Chai Tao Kueh. That XO Chai Tao Kueh costs $20 a plate. 10 times, that's true, you mean you have eaten? $20. Okay. One of our uncles has eaten XO, $20. Good for you. 10 times more than plain Chai Tao Kueh. I went to Ang Mo Kio to eat Chai Tao Kueh at the store owned and managed by Roy's father. He charged me $2. We don't need Chan Chun Sing to define what a poverty index is. The World Bank defines poverty as lower than half of the median income. With this standard definition, Singapore has 30% of citizens living in poverty. That is why he doesn't want to define the poverty index, because it will show so many, 30%, 1/3 of Singaporeans are living in poverty. And yet someone said there is no poverty in Singapore. That is why they do not want to define poverty index. You know, this 30% is a very high proportion. Yes, in first world countries, you know what I'm going to say next, is it? Fewer than 10% of people are poor. You know, there are also poor people in first world countries, but the percentage is not high, less than 10%. Denmark, 2 to 3% are poor. And yet, these poor people get generous help from the state. Just help them. The state doesn't ask for means test. Oh, your father, mother, your brother and sister got money, what? Show me their bank account.
Too many from
you have so much money. Why do you not? You are unfair to other poor people. You abuse the system. All nonsense, all kinds of nonsense to delay and deny help to you. In first world countries, we don't question our poor citizens. When they seek help, we give them help. It is already a lot for someone to come to you to ask for help. Don't humiliate them further. Don't give them mean testing. Yes, there will be some people who drive Mercedes-Benz and will come to you for $300. It's an old Mercedes, maybe he borrowed it from somebody else or whatever. There will be abuse. Maybe 2-3%, 5% of people abuse it. But we should not allow this small abuse to deny the majority, that's 95% of people who really need help. They need help. Don't look at the 5% abuse. Look at the 95% who really need help. Anyway, these 5% will not bankrupt the country. Under our $6 billion safety net, the amount of help given out is fixed. Even if all 5% abuse, 10, 20% abuse, even 100% abuse, the amount of money that the state has put aside is fixed. You cannot take more than we have provided for in the $6 billion safety packet. So don't worry. Even if they abuse, just pat them on the back, say, well, maybe you need the money. Spend it, the country will not go bankrupt. But if you don't need it, you still have some savings, give it to the real poor. Alright? That is a civilized society. A first world society. People who do not question whether you deserve help or not. If you come forward for help, we give you help without question. And we don't ridicule you or humiliate you. Question your grandfather, grandmother, father, mother. Show me your bank account. Chan Chun Sing accused our party of bribing people with monthly allowances of $300 to children and senior citizens, and said this is insulting his residents in Tanjong Pagar. Have he and his BAP cronies not been bribing Singaporeans with millions of taxpayers' dollars in the name of SG50? Isn't this pretension a big insult to all Singaporeans? If you are going to bribe Singaporeans with goodies, say so. Don't pretend this is because of your 50 years of contribution. For 50 years of contribution, they gave you only $50 for transport voucher. Is this not insulting? We give $300 per month. They only give you $300 per quarter for senior citizens, for pioneers. Our proposal means $900 per quarter. So who is insulting Singaporeans? PAP, Mr. Chan Chun Sing himself. Let me be very clear. We are not bribing people with $300 per month. We are returning to them the money that rightfully belongs to them, but taken away from them by the PAP. Remember my example of CPF, how they cheated you of your returns on your savings. Will you improve the quality of future political leadership if you elect PAP's new candidates? They say in addition to this, we have other new candidates, you know. But they come from the same mold. Basically, yes men from the civil service and the military, like the current ministers. Not original. The same old formula of senior civil servants and army generals. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what they will say. Will they make Singapore better? Same old formula, and all saying yes to Prime Minister. Nothing original in them. The Prime Minister said the next stage of economic development, of improving property, is through innovation. Innovation. But can you get the innovation from yes men, from the civil service and the military? No! Have they fought themselves through struggles in the private sector without help from the government? No! They will not help Singapore. They will not make Singapore better. They will join Brigadier General Lee Hsien Loong in bringing Singapore further down the drain. Another 10 years, another 5 years, another 10 years of misery from the same army generals and the same civil service, from the same PAP government, under the same tutelage and mentoring from an incompetent Prime Minister. Can you get anyone competent when the mentor is incompetent?
Kick him out!
Current PAP leaders talk unshamedly about honoring the late Mr. Lee Kuan Yew and how he is so special to Tanjong Pagar. No, cry on stage lah. Even though it's not their father, they also cry. I don't know when their father why they cry or not. You can see this in a lot of the ministers. Why are they crying when it is not their own father? Crocodile tears, whatever tears. They are just opportunistic. They have no confidence in themselves. They are making use of the name of Lee Kuan Yew for their own selfish ends. You cry more lah, maybe your salary will increase beyond $1 million. The more teardrops, you know, every teardrop is a special gold coin. More teardrops, more gold. In fact, they have no real respect for Lee Kuan Yew and have even betrayed his ideals. Let me give you 3 examples how they betrayed Lee Kuan Yew's ideals. In 1979, LKY warned about having too many foreign workers. He said, and I quote, in 1979, in 5 years, you will have 120,000 in 10 years. 250,000 in 10 years. Is it bearable? He then went on. But I have a responsibility to you. In 10 years, can we digest so many? There will be cultural, linguistic, social, and political problems. Yes. Unquote. This is what Lee Kuan Yew said in 1979. Today, in 2015, Singapore has 1.5 million foreign workers. 5 times more than Singaporean can bear. And 1 million such foreign workers came in the last 10 years under PM Lee Hsien Loong. So Lee Kuan Yew's own son has betrayed the values and beliefs of the late Mr. Lee Kuan Yew. Another value that LKY stood for is trust. That the government must be worthy of the people's trust. In the past, trust in government was high, but this has fallen very low under the present PAP leadership. According to the Adamant Trust Barometer 2014, only 26% of Singaporeans trust their government leaders to tell the truth. In other words, the overwhelming majority of Singaporeans, nearly 3/4 of us, do not trust PAP leaders to tell the truth. Trust in PAP has hit rock bottom. Yes. Lastly, the third one. There are a lot of other values of Mr. Lee Kuan Yew that have been betrayed by his own son. But I will just mention 3. Too many you cannot remember. Lastly, the principle of meritocracy that LKY fiercely stood by. You know what is meritocracy? It means that people move ahead on the basis of their own capability, not on the basis of any connections, political or whether you are born to the right family or not. No connections, no birth. Priority over others who were unfortunate to born to the wrong family or to poor family without connections. I use the word unfortunately in a rather loose way. Sometimes it is very fortunate to be born to a poor family, then you know what it is like to be poor. And you will appreciate your fellow friends. You will appreciate the value of hard work. Singapore has prospered in the past because of the principle of meritocracy. But in 2014, The Economist, which is a reputable international news magazine, ranked Singapore top 5 on its global cronyism index. What does it mean? It means cronyism means that politically connected businessmen are most likely to prosper. So Singapore is ranked number 5. And who were the first 4 countries? First is Hong Kong, you know. Lots of billionaires are very close to the leaders, property especially. So Hong Kong is number 1. Number 2 is Russia. Of course, you know why Russia. You know, lots of billionaires also very close to the government. Number 3, Malaysia. And of course, you know why with the recent event, with the recent $700 million. And number 4 is Ukraine. Ukraine. For Singapore to be together with these 4 countries, where has Singapore sunk to? Singapore comes 5th after these countries. Going by this ranking of cronyism, LKY's ideal of meritocracy has been betrayed under his son's watch as Prime Minister. If Singaporeans vote out of gratitude to the father, they will end in servitude to the son. Do not vote because of the father. You will get his son. And he has son. You will not get the father back. He's gone. But you will get his son. Is that a good bargain or a bad bargain? What has given you? What has he given you in the last 10 years? Fellow Singaporeans, do you want 5 more years of the unhappiness and misery of the past 10 years under PAP? Or do you want to take back our country that the PAP has sold out to foreigners and cronies? Will you vote, Singaporeans vote, to restore our nation? Yes! Vote for change! Vote to restore our nation! Vote SINGFIRST! Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sun, and last but not least, our final candidate for this evening, and you all know him already. Please, let me hear you scream and roar for Dr. Ang Yong Guan.
亲爱的新加坡同胞们，现在的人民行动党已不如以前了，人民行动党已失去了战斗精神了，没有没有斗志力了。你看，
当徐宝坤输了榜儿东，他现在跑去哪里？阿摩九，躲在谁的后面？李显龙的后面。还有啊，王义康啊，阿朱尼输了啊，可多落了，38万啊，躲在谁的后面？许文远的后面啊，够一靠啊，Desmond Chu 啊，后港输了啊，可多落了 ，Dan Finis 啊，这阵的人民行动都无想了啊，甲头40年啊，无想了。一代不如一代，你们要踢他们出去。还有啊，吴明胜 ，BBB， 他向我们的卫生部长甘金勇出了一个挑战，我们来 public debate 公开辩论。你知道甘金勇怎么样说吗？下嘛，甘金勇讲辩论什么？全部已经在国会说完了。这款的战斗精神啊，你讲要上去的啊，你讲要有地啊，你讲要个吴明胜讲，来啊，咱来辩论啊，我辩论个无会讲啊，当今的部长袂使了啊。无迄个战斗精神了啊！你人知无？袂使趁200万啊，唔敢去拍钱啊 ！paper general 啊，你人讲是 paper general 啊，纸上军官啊，纸上准将啊！李祥龙总理佫讲啊，行动党啊，外口敢若。唔是啊，反对党啊，唔是行动党啊，反对党外口敢若老虎啊，那国会里敢若鸟雀啊，like a mouse 啊，在外面是老虎啊，在国会里面是老鼠啊。总理你错了啊，700啊，总理你错了，7个反对党对付79个人民行动党。不是老鼠，是老虎啊！只有没有战斗精神的人民行动党候选人和议员是老鼠啊！他们现在才是老鼠啊！反对党的全部都是老虎啊！怕死袂走的啊！怕死过来怕，怕甲赢啊！袂赢怕甲赢啊！啊！点讲，咱互你累啊！咱互你累啊！
我哪会累啊？
在阮人的后备金偌侪累无？咱 reserves 啊！
天荒啦！
啊，莫讲500 million 啊，500 million 啊，当然是5000亿啊。We have 500 billion 啊 estimated in our reserves 啊，5000亿啊，记好好啊，记去想看卖哦，5000亿会使买。偌侪间政府厝啊，一间政府厝500千啊，会使买500千的政府厝啊。
你人一间都好。
安尼做累吼，咱人渐渐出税啊，你会知 GRC 一年收偌侪无？收$10 billion 啊，收$10 billion，$10 billion 是100亿啊。你破病哦，你知无？你看待出来的累是2/3， 政府每年开40亿啊，4 billion on health. You and I spend $8 billion on health. 80亿啊。What the hell? 公平未？这个政府安怎你看呢？5000亿 reserves 啊，后备金啊。到卫生啊，假如开12 billion， 开4 billion 啊，4 billion， 你能放8 billion 啊？你特别破病你都要出8块先，政府我都4块呢。这8块倒落来呢 ，Medisave、Medishield、Medisave 甲 Medishield 什么人会累？你人会累，你都喺定定这点吼，累安尼做，啊，点点爱累，点点爱累。你的 CPF 啊，50個月都袂使入，一點點 delay，點點延遲。你們都講得對，80個嘢好啊。按照你行到去巴丹啊，大家亂開啊，無用腦嘅吼，咱5支手吼，定到幾啊%會亂用鐳啊，其他攏總。我人會曉安怎用鐳嘅，免驚。安怎政府驚甲你看哦？你看有2個casino，咱人是交貴無？哦 ，7-11 賣酒，你是交酒貴無？唔是講大概是酒貴是無？我好你 CPF 嘅鐳，我定咗講你會曉用鐳嘛，會曉開鐳嘛。所以各位，我拿一個簡單的例子跟你講。就是說，我們的儲備金很多，5000億，500 billion， 可是到了衛生開銷呢，政府只付40億，4 billion。你每次生病啊，你的口袋要出，總共啊80億，8 billion dollar， 包括你的 Medisave， 包括你的 Medishield。Medisave 跟 Medishield 是你們的錢。Medishield 是啊，每個人 put premium， 每年都有 put 放在裡面。你生病，你拿出來用，你知道剩下多少嗎？剩下每年48%，只有分出68%。美國有一個法律Medical insurance the payout rate must be 80%, not 60% like in Singapore.Okay, that is my point. 所以你们要支持我们要恢复我们的国家，你们要投国人为先党一票，支持国人为先党。Fellow Singaporeans, very good evening. Many of you are hurt and unhappy with the current state of our nation. You are hurt by what you have seen in Singapore in the last 10 years. What our former Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew, the late Lee Kuan Yew, and our pioneer generation had achieved in the first 40 years, we are losing them. And if nothing is done, we will lose more. You wonder how a once great political party has become self-serving, self-seeking, and self-breeding, benefiting their own members and kakis. GC already told you about the Crony capitalism index. We are number 5 in the world. What does that mean? It means success in business depends on close relationships between business people and government officials. We are feeling it on the ground. Business people are afraid of supporting opposition parties. it's safer and more beneficial to support the PAP. This is a vicious cycle which will lead the PAP becoming more and more inbreeding, because people are afraid of supporting opposition party. It's so difficult to raise funds for our cause. It's so difficult to get rich businessmen to sponsor us. And that's bad for the nation. We are not enemies of the nation. We want to fight for Singaporeans. We want to go to Parliament to fight for you. You look at the PAP candidates. They practically only sing one tune. And the tune is, we have 5-year plans. 5-year plan. I also have one copy here. 5-year plan. PAP one. PAP 5-year plan. They are obsessed with building more infrastructure, more covered linkway, more shops, more centers here and more centers there. Whatever. They have forgotten how to connect with the people emotionally, because they don't have the fighting spirit anymore. And they think they can bribe you with 5-year plans. You heard what GC say about Mr. Chan Chun Sing laughing at us, furious that we are proposing $300. And do you know, in August last year, in August this year, the government gave $300 cash voucher to 1.3 million Singaporeans. By Mr. Chan's definition, isn't the PAP bribing the citizens as well? Should I now give this back to Mr. Chan? Don't insult Singaporeans. You think what? Exact words he used, huh? They are here to be bribed. Let me remind the PAP, all the funding for these 5-year programs don't come from the PAP. They come from you and me. Our taxpayers' money. Some of you here are businessmen. For every dollar you make, 7 cents go to the government. And I just said in Chinese just now, $10 billion is collected every year out of our revenue of 50 billion. That is 20% comes from our GST. I think Singaporeans are beyond just having more infrastructure. You want to feel connected. You want to feel that you belong to this great nation. You want to feel esteemed. You're also hurt because your money in your pocket is buying you less things. Your $50 is no longer buying you $50 worth of goods. We are the most expensive city in the world. High renters are killing a lot of companies. High renters push up the cost of food. One coffee shop in Bukit Batok was sold for $31 million. The owner of the coffee shop benefited. He bought it for $3.4 million. So the price was increased 800%. And when the moment the transfer was made, the rental went up to 6,500 per month per store. It was only 3,000 over per month per store. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the high cost of living we are all facing, and it's not fair to stay afloat and pay for the high mortgages of our flats. Both parents have to work. They spend little quality time with their children. And this is no good for our children's development. Obsessed with doing well in exam, excessive tuition, fearful of failure, our children are robbed of their childhood. Many grow up to become insecure adults. Our cases of obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, is #1 in the world. We are known as the OCD capital of the world. 1 in 33 Singaporeans have OCD. In America, it's 1 in 40. Now, what is OCD? You keep washing your hands 20 times, 30 times, when 2 times is enough. You keep checking your door and window 10 times, when 2, 3 times is enough. You keep making sure your car is locked, when once is enough. We are very insecure. We are kiasu and kiasi. And that's why we have high OCD. And I told you in my last rally, the PAP doesn't have fighting spirit. They're also kiasu and kiasi. With leaders like that, the citizens are also kiasu kiasi. With high OCD. I will have to stop now. Thank you very much. My point is, one more point about foreign workers. I just got a note from a property agent. The government is allowing the market foreigners to be real estate agents. Are you aware? We go and check it out because they are allowing them to come into the property market as real estate agent. This is the latest I've got. And I'll end on that note. Vote for change. Vote to restore our nation. Vote SINGFIRST.
Representative of TANJONG PAGAR. Once again, we'd like to thank all of you for coming here with us. And don't forget, remember, our next rally will be at Shro. Come to our next rally and support us at Shro.
Everybody, do you mind if I take a photo of you using my camera? Acknowledge your presence tonight.
All right, once again, we'll do a SINGFIRST cheer before we end it for tonight. 1, 2, 3. SINGFIRST! 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 Thank you! Once again, thank you for coming. Alright, the candidates will come down and be able to have a handshake with you guys and have a short chat. So if you'd like to have any questions for them, they'll be available for you. Selfies are permitted as well.
Hey, good to see you. Hi. Thank you for coming. Yeah. Next week. What's good about it? Dance. Hi, how are you? I'm Queenstown. Okay. Again. Nearer. Line, stand it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hold on. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Han. Thank you. All right. Go. Take them out. Thank you. Kesian dah, sini citizen tau, susah tau. Thank you.
All the best, Dr. Ang. You have my vote. Thank you. All the best. Thank you. All the best with my vote. SGI, man.
Very sharp.
Thank you. Thank you, Uncle. Support us. Coming.
That's not him, that's not here.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Don't worry.
I remember.
Follow you, huh? You are in your this. You can know this. You can. Hello. Hi, we are from Happy City. We are live streaming all the rallies. Would you mind if we just ask you a few quick questions? Yeah. Anyone is okay. Okay, hang on, huh? Happy City, we are local independent.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we're doing live streaming for the Okay, so first question, what do you think of the new breed of PAP leaders, and are they able to continue Lee Kuan Yew's legacy?
Well, what should I say? Okay.
It's okay, just what you feel.
Okay. Would you mind repeat the question?
Okay. What do you think of the new breed of PAP leaders, and are they able to continue Lee Kuan Yew's legacy?
Okay. I think they need to, take ownership of, sorry, I'm a bit nervous. Can you help me with some input, please? Well, if you ask me, I would rather to see more new breeds, especially younger generations, to come forward and, to speak up, and not to just follow, So they have to take ownership and lead, and be able to voice out. And especially the most important thing is when they see something is wrong, don't afraid to speak out. Okay, I think that's what I mean. That's why I'm here tonight. As also to support my ex-boss, Colonel Tan Ping An. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Next question. Just a few questions. Next question, how do you feel about the Pioneer Generation Package?
SG50? Pioneer Generation SG50. I think medical fees, okay, to be very honest, I think medical fees should be free. It's not subsidized. It should be like, some of the European country or, not totally social, how do you put it? What I mean is, I think it should be free and education as well. So, no need to give them a package. It should be given to them. Everything should be free of charge. This is my own perspective. Yeah.
Okay, next question. What are your views on the AHPTC saga?
Oh, the town council. I think they over-exaggerate the whole issue. But especially at this time, we know that it's a sensitive issue. So I think TAP is making it big fuss over it. Well, I think this is how I feel about it.
Next question. Do you think we have a credible opposition, and do you want to see more opposition in Parliament?
I'm sure. I think it's good to have different voices as well. Yeah. So, instead of one party, it is good. It's always good and positive to hear voices from all different perspectives. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. Hello, we are from Happy TV. We are live streaming the rallies. Yeah. You can watch on YouTube. Okay. Hello, yeah, we're from Happy TV. We are live streaming the rallies. Do you mind if we ask you a few questions? Just a few questions. It's okay, we can ask anyone. Yeah.
No. What question?
Okay, so just a few questions. Okay, so first, what do you think of the new breed of PAP leaders? And are they able to continue the Lee Kuan Yew legacy?
Okay, I don't know. I don't think I have enough opinions about this one to say anything. Can I answer something else?
What do you feel about the Pioneer Generation package?
Is there anything else on the list?
Do you think we have a credible opposition, and do you want to see more opposition members in Parliament?
Yeah, I think for any first world country, healthy democracy needs diverse voices. So definitely, I think Singapore lacks that strong opposition. And I mean, I haven't been to too many election rallies, but this year I feel that we do have a very strong cast. I mean, a lot of new political parties, and actually, I quite like some of the new candidates as well. Very highly qualified, educated. They don't just appeal to the masses. They kind of just they say the hard truths that we need to hear.
Which one in particular caught your interest?
I think probably based on what I see on social media, my views have been echoed as well. But SDP seems to be an up-and-coming kind of underdog.
Anyone from SDP in particular?
Well, I guess it has to be the party leader, Chee Soon-juan.
Okay, next question. What are your views on the AHPETC saga?
I think that it's a valid point, but it has definitely been overplayed. The whole issue has been sort of overcrowding all the other major national policies that should be talked about, and I think this is most citizens want to get past this issue and hear about what truly matters to them, which is national policy. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, we are from Happy TV. We are local independent media. Happy TV. Yeah.
Happy TV, I saw your video post.
Okay, thank you. You can watch all the rallies live from YouTube.
Okay.
And the YouTube address.
Yeah. Good job, good job.
Happy TV, thank you. Yeah, we're local independent media. Hello, hi, we are from Happy TV. We are local independent media. So we are live streaming all the rallies. Yeah. Do you mind if we ask you just a few questions? Okay. Hello, hi, we are from Happy TV, local independent media.
Thank you.
Okay.
Same place only. Next side, next Chinese garden. Chinese garden. Okay. Next Monday night.
Hello, we are from Happy TV, local independent media. Okay.
Okay, catch up. Okay. Okay. Thanks.